Kral space, Kral space. I can't growl. Kral space, Kral space. I'm invading your space. Kral space, Kral space, Kral space, Kral space. I can't growl.
Hey, it's Kral Space. I am Kim Kral, and I am reporting to you not live from my closet. Hi guys. I'm in a fantastic mood. This is 9 hours late. By the time it gets out, it'll be 10 hours late. So I don't anticipate anybody downloading it today, but that's all right. I'm still getting it out there. Hi. What a day, what a day, what a day, what a money good day. You know, what a man, okay. If you're watching on YouTube, let's make sure, I don't know, I haven't caught up on YouTube in a little bit, and I will soon. I don't know if you can really even see it. Yeah, I guess you can. And then sometimes Zoom, if you don't pay for the account, which I don't need to pay for the account, but then sometimes it doesn't keep your recording. I don't know. It's a whole thing. We don't need to complain about Zoom. Who gives a fuck, right? It helped us through a pandemic. But if you're watching on Zoom, I had a hair modeling job today that I booked, which is really exciting. And my red hair is back, baby. I don't think I had red hair when I started Kral Space. I think I had the remnants of the end of red hair, the fade out in the lockdown. But right before the lockdowns, I had a couple of hair modeling jobs where they dyed my hair bright red, and I loved it a lot. And then today I booked a job with some very, very talented, wonderful people. I had the best day. I just had so much fun. And then I'll tell you more about the day, but I also have some really, really good news on the other front. Henry is healthy. Henry, his procedure that he had, a month ago, where I was, a fucking mess during, because my best friend was gone for a few days. He's cured. His thyroid has evened out. My doctor was like, yeah, my wonderful doctor. If you're in Hollywood and you have an animal and you don't know where to go to Dr. Kumar at Sunset Animal Hospital. He talks about his cats the way I talk about Henry and Lucy. You guys know I love Lucy. I love her. But he couldn't get a urine sample. I think it's because he's too big and they can't put like a needle, because how they get a urine is they like put a needle into the bladder and pull it out. But I think that's how he kind of explained it to me. But he's like, will you get a urine sample? Is there a way you be able to get Henry's pee and bring it back to us? And honestly, it wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a really funny, like fun story, but like this cat and I are soulmates. Like this cat, I love him so much. So what he'll do when I was like, yeah, I'll probably be able to do it pretty easily. And they're like, okay. And they're trying to explain. And I'm like, no, I don't need. They're like, get like a small litter box and then put a little bit of litter in it, but then cover it with tin foil. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to need all that. I got his first pee out. Like, cause when I got home, he went pee and I got the pee. Because what was funny about it though, so when I clean out his litter, he'll come over when I clean out their litter, they have the same litter. Lucy won't use her own. I tried to give her own litter box. Cause if you have multiple cats, you should have multiple litter boxes. They just don't, what will end up happening is I would get her a litter box and either they don't use it at all, or it was kind of smaller cause she's smaller. And I thought like Henry would understand that he is a big boy and she is a little kitten. I thought that he would be like, oh, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm giving him too much credit, where he'd be like, oh, obviously that one's not for me because it's so tiny. No, he would try and pee in it and then he peed outside. It was a whole thing. Anyway, I obsessively clean out the litter box. So don't think that anyway. So when I go clean out the litter box, Henry will come over. I just like had a bunch of spit in my mouth. I hope you didn't hear it. Just like a slobber. Henry would come over to the litter box and like stare at me and like he's waiting to use the bathroom. And I'm like, well, go to the bathroom. And then I'm like, well, it's clean, but like pee so I'll wait until you're done so I can clean it again. Right. And so I was like, I think that's when I could probably get it. So I got this little bowl. They gave me like a bowl that they usually give to dogs, like people with dogs when they need their pee. And Henry like squatted. I don't know if this is interesting at all, but Henry like squatted down to pee. And I just put the bowl underneath his, like the stream, and he stopped for like half a second. And I picture his inner monologue just looking at me. And I was like, what is this fucking lady doing now? I gotta pee. And then he just peed. And then I was able to get it out. And my doctor was like, they weren't nearly as impressed with how quickly I got the pee that I was hoping they would be. I was hoping there'd be a little bit more validation, but they were just like, oh yeah, we asked you to do this and you did it. What else do you need? It's like, I don't know, I did it pretty quickly. It was pretty easy. I just want you to, you know what I think I'm looking for? I think I want them to be like, I have never seen an animal and a human connect on more of a deeper level. But no, they just were like, yeah, you guys, that's your cat. You guys, he trusts you. I was like, but you don't understand. The other one doesn't. The other one is terrified of everything. But yeah, so he was like pending urine tests. He's fully healthy and great. And he was like, I'm not anticipating any issues with the urine, knock on wood. Of course, now I'm like boasting about how healthy my cat is. And then tomorrow I get earth-shaking news. Don't put that out in the universe. And then today I had a hair casting, and how hair modeling works is not every time, but most of the time you go to the casting and it's like, and they're both the places I've worked with are pretty far from my apartment. So it's like you go to the casting and it's far, but if you book it, you stay, right? And you stay and you get this beautiful haircut and you get your hair done, and it's by like the top stylist in the world, right? Like in my opinion, like these people are just so, like the guy who worked on me today, I'll tag him in the Instagram post. You should follow him. His name was Tommy. He was so fucking talented. And so you get your hair done by these artists, I can't say is without a lisp, artists without a lisp. I know that because the agency's called Modern Artists. And when I do my slates, I'm like, hi, I'm Kim Kral. I'm from Modern Artists. I do it a little bit smoother, but, so you go, and if you book it, you stay, right? And then you get your hair done by these like fucking talented people, and then you get paid to do it. So my hair went fire engine red like a year, like a year before the pandemic. So what is that, like 3 years now? Time's not real. But I went and then I did it again, and then I did it again, and then today it was like this terrible brassy color. Like I don't even know if you can call it that. It was just this faded, I don't know, so long too. Like it's still so long, but they cut off like 5 inches. So it was just so long and dead. And I was just like, I was like, honestly, man, if you want to set it on fire, just change this long hair that I can't do anything with. And so now I do have to get new headshots. I think my agent's going to be like, yo, you're brown haired in the other pictures. It'll be fine. I bet I'll get called in more. But it was just such a lovely day. It was just, and it was also like the other model. Like sometimes you'll work with a model that just isn't interested in your friendship. Like you'll like be like da 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 da, and they're just like no. Or they're just like, oh, they're like amused by you at best, right? And so like not only the other model was just fucking awesome, and then the stylists were great, everything it was just an all around really good day. And then at the end of it, they kept me a little bit longer, and they were like, oh, because we had to keep you longer, here's a big bag of our awesome products. It was just, it's just a really good day. I don't know, man, things are kind of going well. It's so interesting. I wanted to talk about this a bunch because this has been like a running theme for me in the last week or two. And I've talked about it a little bit on here about just like how we should, the world's ending, man. You might as well be kind. And how just kindness is just like something that I've just been really thinking about. Okay, well, let me just tell you a few things. So one, there is a venue, like a theater. I got to take a sip of water. I'm sorry. I don't edit these at all. You know that. I could hear myself slurping it. I'm so tired. I don't even know what the hell this is going to be about. But a theater here in LA, it obviously shut down during, COVID. And they sent me an email. I don't know, it's like 6 months ago. They sent me an email, and they kept sending me emails about being a producer at the theater, and like as if I was a producer before the world ended. Like, hey, you know what? We're excited to welcome you back. You know, we can't wait to have your show back. You know, this is when we're thinking about opening and blah, 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 right? And so they sent me a couple of those emails, and I was just like, oh, maybe I had to let them know that they got the wrong person. So I just emailed back and was like, hi, you know, literally the bare minimum kindness. Like, it wasn't anything. It's just, it's kind of frightens me how grateful people are when you just show a little bit of kindness. Like it's just, what frightens me is it's just like, how are people reacting to this? How else would you react? So I like bare minimum niceness, right? I was just like, hey, I think you might have the wrong email. I don't have a show. I have never produced a show at this venue. You know, I was just like, I love the venue. It's awesome. I love performing there. I hope you're staying safe, but you can, I was just like, you can take me off this list. Hope you're staying safe. Can't wait to perform there again and welcome you guys back. Right? Like, I mean, it's nice, but like, it's not like I wasn't like, I'm going to suck your dick. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like over the top, like kiss assy. It was just nice. And she wrote back and was like, oh my God, thank you so much for being so nice. You wouldn't believe the responses I'm getting from people who no longer want to be on this email chain. And it's like, what? Like, guys, the fucking world ended. The world ended. Like, we're not Walking Dead style. I totally understand that. Like, it's not that bad, but like, God damn it, humanity. Like, just be kind, man. And I worked a job. I worked at the Korean nightclub that I worked at for a long time before the world ended, like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I realized I haven't had a lot of water today. I did not realize that until right now when I got super thirsty. I worked at the club, and they asked me to like refill out paperwork or whatever. They were just like, oh, we all had to redo it. I guess they got rid of all the paper. I don't know. So they didn't have any of my W-9s or W-2s or whatever. And so I filled out the paperwork and I sent it to the guy whom I've never met. Is it whom or who? Whom I've never met. And I said, you know, I was just like, hey, I used to work there. My name is Kim. Here is all my paperwork. I don't know. I get bare fucking minimum of like how are people treating other people? Like, is it really that bad out there? Are you kidding me? Like, I was just like, here's my paperwork. Here are the hours I worked that night, just in case my number didn't register. They said that it might not or whatever. And I was just like, you know, let me know if you need anything else from me. Hope you're having a good day. Take care. And he wrote back immediately and literally wrote, he was like, we will get your check out on Friday. You made my job a lot easier. And then ended it with just, I just really want to thank you so much for your kindness. And like, I appreciate that. And that's, you know, and I'm not like negating that I'm not a nice human, but like, I don't know, man. I've really been thinking about it lately. And it's just, I used to have this boss at Big Wang's. Oh God, I loved him so much. I mean, he's alive and we're still friends. I don't know why. Man, I love that guy. But Mikey, he's a New York guy. I think he's Italian. Yeah, of course he's Italian. Oh my God, if he listens to this, he's going to be like, what do you fucking think I am, Kim? But we used to just like go back and forth, like yelling at each other, but it was like in love, right? Like, that's how we would talk and be like, I don't fucking know what's happening. Well, I don't fucking know what's happening. And we go back and forth and it was just and like new people would be like, oh my God, why are they screaming at each other? And we're like, oh, we're like family. But he used to always yell at me because I would, you know, come to blows with customers all the time, or I'd want to like, I was a little intense when I worked at Big Wings. And he would always scream, you attract more bees with honey, Kim. Well, he called me Kral. He'd be like, you attract more bees with honey, Kral. I'm doing a terrible New York accent, but it's just like, and you know, it took me a long time to understand that he was not wrong, you know, like it's just, but I'm just like, how are people treating others out there? And then another example, these are all the examples of when I was kind and when people were shocked about it. That's what this episode is going to be about. Not really, but I, so as you guys know, I'm doing the like kind of freelance thing, which so far it seems to be working out well. And I'm trying not to question it, but it's like kind of scary. But like every day something new just kind of happens. And I realized the other day I was sitting I was sitting at the Jay Leno show, which I'm so bummed out. It ends tomorrow and I didn't get booked on the last day. I'm so bummed out. And it actually worked out better. I have a whole bunch of stuff I need to get done tomorrow. So like as an adult person, it's better. I have tomorrow off to get shit done, but it's over tomorrow. And I just, oh my God, you guys, I ate really fast. I'm a fucking mess. I'm a mess. I also just sent some friends a picture of my hair, and one of them, like, it was just like, oh, it's not even really that short. Like, that was the response. And I'm like, oh, well, I really like the red. Okay. So I'm like in my head about that. I don't know. My brain's a loud place to live. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So I've been doing, things have been kind of working out with this whole freelance thing. And just like the most random people are calling me for like weird, like, so I got this woman that called me, go on a ride with me. This is wild. So there's a thing, I don't know if this is everywhere, but market research, well, I know market research is everywhere, but market research here in LA, you go to this like television place in the Valley and you watch like pilots of television before they before I guess they get approved or they're going to change something, or I have no idea, but you go and you watch like an episode of some show. Like I watched the rough cut episode of Homeland. That must have been the last time I did it. And I just watched, whatever the episode is. And then you sit in a room with a bunch of people and then you talk about what you liked and what you didn't like. And you go through each character and what's likable or whatever. Right. It's like 3 hours and they give you like $75 to $100, right? And so I haven't done it in a really long time. And the last time, so this woman calls me and asks me if I want to do it. And this is like a couple of months ago. And I was like, oh yeah, I haven't been called for one of these in so long. And she's like, great. So I go down to the place. So this is like 3 months ago. I go down to the place and I go to log in and I go to like check in and the guy like is like, oh, I have to get my manager. And I was like, oh, okay. So he goes and gets his manager. The guy comes back and he goes, oh, they were supposed to let you know that we replaced you. And I was like, oh, okay. Do you know why I was replaced? Like, did something happen? And he was like, we don't know. It just says that you were replaced and they were supposed to call you. And it's kind of annoying, but like in my brain, like that kind of thing, like that's no one's fault, right? Like it's no reason to just fly off the handle and yell at everybody. And apparently that is how most people react to that situation. Because when I called the woman, they were blown away about how cool I was being. I was just like, well, what is the normal reaction? Are people just flipping out at you? And like, I was trying to figure out, like, I was like, I get that, like, maybe there are people that like need the money, right? Because like I'm paying my bills this way, but I'm not like die hard. This is my last chance to make $100 this week. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe I'm just not like in that spot financially, but even when I have been in that spot financially, I don't know. You just don't be nice, man. And so she was like, the woman was like, I'm so sorry. They called me in the middle of the night and left a message and I got it at 4 a.m. and then completely forgot, just because, you get anything at 4 a.m, you'll probably forget it. And so I was just like, okay. And she's like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, well, yeah, I mean that, it's fine. It was an honest mistake. It's not like she didn't do it at me. I've just been so. And she was like, well, you've been so nice. We want to get you more work. We'll get you more work. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. Thanks, whatever. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then she called me this week and asked me to go do it again. And I was like, oh, so then go on this ride with me. This is so fucking weird. And I'll never know. I'll never fucking know. So she books me. It was like Monday or Tuesday. I can't remember what day it was, but she like books me to do this. And then Sunday she calls me and she's like, hey, this is kind of a thing that we need to talk about on the phone. Like, I'd rather not leave this message. Like, I'd rather talk to you than like leave a text message about this. But the reason why you were sent home last time and why we haven't booked you in so long is that they were very unhappy about what you wore to the last screening. She's like, and this woman's never met me. And she's like, I don't really know what you look like. So I don't know like what your style is. And she's like, it's just really awkward. So just call me back. So I call her back and I was like, I'm a pretty well put together person, right? I'm like, what the fuck did I wear to this thing? And she was just like, she goes, yeah, they mark you they ask you to be like business casual and they mark you. And I guess like whatever you wore was so bad that they were like, we don't want her back ever. What? I was like, what the fuck did I wear? And she goes, honestly, we wouldn't have even really have known, but they said they couldn't use you. And then she's like, my boss was like, well, we should try and like see why and find out the reasoning. And so they probed. Is that feels invasive, right? That's where you probe somebody like the aliens in the butt. Okay. I don't know if that's real. I was like, I don't even know what we're talking about now. But she's like, we probed is right, whatever. But, and they were like, oh, and then they said the whole whatever I was wearing last time, they just never wanted me to go back. And she goes, and because you were so nice a couple of months ago, like we don't do that for everybody, but we just like pushed and asked for a second chance. And she goes, if you just weren't, if you were not as kind as you were a couple of months ago, we probably would have just let it go and told you that we couldn't book you that time and just never have called you again. And I was like, oh. And she goes, so like, what do you think you wore last time? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't show up in like a bird costume or like the only thing I'm thinking, this is what I think probably happened. Cause she's like, well, what were you planning on wearing today? And I was like black slacks and like a nice, blouse. And she's like, okay, well, do you want to wear a dress? And I was like, okay, I'm not wearing a dress. Like, this is not like, no, I'm not going to go, whatever. And she told me this very sad story about how her first year of teaching, I got to be careful every time I do a podcast. And now I like talk about random people that I like meet here throughout jobs. Then I meet them longer and get to know them. And then they're like, I'm going to listen to your podcast. And I'm like, oh, maybe don't listen to episode 82 because I sort of talk about all the stuff we talked about. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't remember this woman's name. So I'm venturing to guess she and I aren't going to have coffee anytime soon. So it'll be fine. Joyce, maybe? I don't remember her name. Claire? Whatever. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So she, like her first year of teaching, she's like, honestly, maybe it was like someone who just didn't like had like kind of a jealousy issue when they saw you. And so they like dinged you for it. And I was like, well, that seems weird. I doubt that's what happened. Cause like you don't talk to anybody. They literally give you a thing and then you go in the whatever. So I was just like, that seems weird. But she said her first year of teaching, she was like a cute young woman and she wore a dress. And one of the other people said that they didn't like, they judged her for her dress and it said it wasn't professional. And she's like, it wasn't long. It wasn't short, but it wasn't really long. And she was like, all these years later seems so ashamed of this. And she's like, so when they finally gave me a second chance, she also said she had really long, pretty hair. And she thought that maybe basically what boiled down to is that they didn't want to hire her because she was too attractive, because it would distract the students. You know how we go through that now where it's like finally being highlighted that like girls were sent home constantly in grade school because their clothing was distracting the boys instead of like teaching the boys to not look at girls as objects. They punish the girls. So this woman sounds like she's like in her 60s. So like, I think, I don't know. Again, I hope Claire doesn't listen to this. Is her name Claire? I don't know her name. I doubt she'll stumble upon this. But I was just like, she goes, so when I finally got the chance to come back, she said she bought a short wig and stuffed all her hair up in the wig and wore like a pantsuit in like 90-degree weather with that wig for a year. And she was like, I was so uncomfortable, but like, I just didn't want to lose the job. And she didn't. And then later it turned out why she didn't see my point of view of thing. I was like, oh my God, that's so fucked up. I'm so sorry that happened to you. And she's like, well, I didn't have any business, being that attractive, like something like that. And I was like, oh, well, that's not what I would think. And then later it came out that she didn't believe that everybody should have to get vaccinated because we were talking about how you had to be vaccinated in order to do this job. And she's like, well, I think that's just ridiculous. They shouldn't be able to mandate that. And I was like, oh, okay, got it. You're on the other side of stuff. Okay, we won't agree. So I don't venture to guess this one. But she told this long story and it was so sad because you could tell she still had all the shame from wearing a dress or whatever the first. And so she's like, well, what are you going to wear? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to look nice. But like, if I show up and they want to judge me for whatever I'm wearing and they never want to call me back again, then I guess that's just the way it goes. Cause I'm not going to like, for this type of job, I'm not going to like, suck their dick for it. You know what I mean? Like that. What is the word I'm looking for? Peripheral? No, that's not a word. Whatever. Whatever. But then I showed up to the job and like, I was by far the best dressed person there. By far. There were people with holy pants, jeans, pants around there. I mean, just like, I was like, so why was I dinged? And the only thing I can think of, I don't know if I already said this, but the only thing I can think of is that I probably, this is probably what happened. I was working at Big Wang's and we had to wear Daisy Dukes at Big Wang's. And I probably got off of work and had to go straight there. And I probably was just like, whatever, I'll just wear this and it doesn't matter. And then I probably just like put on like cowboy boots or something to try and dress up the Daisy Dukes. I have no idea. Or I showed up drunk. Who knows? I mean, that was, if I was working beforehand, I don't know, man. But it's just wild. It's been the theme. I've just been thanked way too much recently for just showing the bare minimum of kindness. I'll just never thank you for your kindness. And it's just, I don't know, if I get one person who's listening to this, even like everybody that listens to this, I pretty much, I mean, I don't know, but I know a lot of you reach out to me. And I know there's probably people I don't know that listen to this, which is awesome. And I love you all. But if I can just get one person to be like, oh, maybe I should be a little bit kinder. Because it's just so wild to me. Like we were talking today at the hair job where I get to be a mermaid for a little while. We were talking about how, they like we'd all worked like either retail, fast food, bars, restaurants. And it's just like, I think everybody should have to work retail, fast food and bar, restaurant. I was like, what was the one that I did? But it's just like the way people talk to each other, talk to people in the service industry is just fucking bananas. And so I guess I understand like if you do show a little bit of kindness to someone who's been not treated well, by many people, it's just, I don't know, man. It's all so short and you could just lose anything at any time, I mean, I've lost a lot of humans in my life and every single time I just keep being reminded, be kind, be kind. Like there's not that saying, like if you can be anything in this world. Why don't you choose kindness? And I mean, I'm not perfect. I have definitely yelled at, I've definitely yelled at my fair share of people. Like I order my stuffed crust pizza from Pizza Hut every now and then, like I don't really eat gluten or dairy, but when I do, I really eat gluten and dairy. Like I just don't really eat it. But then when I do, I make love to a buffalo chicken quesadilla, but so for some reason, the Pizza Hut people can't get my gate in my apartment, right? Like for some reason there's sometimes other deliveries have a hard time with it too. Sometimes yesterday I watched a woman outside and maybe after I said I was being kind, be kind, be kind. I watched this woman outside. She stared at the gate box, stared at it and dialed the numbers. There's a phone. You have to pick up the phone. And when I say that to people they're like, yeah, why, what else would the phone be there for? I'm like, you'd be shocked. People will call me on their phone and they're like, and I'm not home, so I can't come down to get the delivery. And I'm like, oh, you have to call the gate. They're like, I am calling the gate. And I'm like, well, you have to pick up the phone when you do that. And they're like, oh, I have to pick. And this is before COVID even, right? And it's just like, okay, so this woman, and maybe this was out of spite. Wow, after I just tell this whole story about how kind I am. But this woman, I watched her look at the gate, push a bunch of buttons, get really frustrated, and then just scream delivery as loud as she could outside the apartment for like 30 minutes. And yeah, I know, I let her scream for 30 minutes, but I was like, I feel like I can't reward this behavior. I can't walk out of my apartment, go down there and grab someone else, like grab the package or whatever. It might even have been my package. I have no idea. No, it wasn't. But I can't reward that kind of like, I don't feel like reading the directions, so I'm just going to scream until someone does it for me. I'm like, I can't in good conscience go out and help that. And then her, a woman that I guess was delivering with her came out, and then they both started screaming delivery. And then, I wanted to see how it played out. So I know that you might at me and be like, "Oh, you're just saying you'd be kind. Would it have killed you to walk all the way downstairs and grab the package?" Yeah, I think it would have. That kind of stupidity annoys me, and I can't. They ended up delivering the package because I saw it in the mail, so it somehow got in here. But she just screamed delivery for 30 minutes outside. And so one time a pizza person came. And she couldn't get in, and I was sick, but I didn't have COVID, but I was still sick with COVID, like I wasn't contagious. But I was like, "Hi, you have to pick up the phone." And she was like, no, like interrupted me like 4 times. And I was like, "All right, well, I'm trying to, no. I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to let you know how to do it." And then I was just like, "All right, I'm coming down." So I hang up. And then I walk around the corner. I'm so annoyed, and I'm ready to just be not like rip her a new one. Like, who fucking cares? You know what I mean? But I was just like not kind. But then I saw her. She had this big toothy smile and these big glasses, and she was just like, "Hi, I'm so sorry. I couldn't figure out how to do it." And I was just like, "Okay, did it kill me to walk a couple flights of stairs? I mean, I'm about to eat 9 pieces of pizza. I think it's 10 pieces of pizza in like a sitting, maybe a sitting and a half. Did it kill me?" And she was so, I don't know, man, just be kind. And it worries me for humanity more than I already was worried for humanity, that people are that shocked when you're kind to them. So I don't know, take whatever you want from that, but just be fucking cool, dude. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, I worked this party. So I'm working these random jobs every day, right? Like it's just, I find myself everywhere. And I was sitting at the Jay Leno audience last week, and I had this really cool like epiphany feeling or realization. I don't know. I'll tell you what I felt, and then you guys will be like, "Oh, that's an epiphany." I don't think it's an epiphany, but I was sitting there and I was like, for the very first time in my life, I am not tied to anything. Like the biggest thing I'm tied to is my cats. And like, you guys know how I feel about them. I love Lucy. I know a lot of people. I love Lucy. She's a sweetheart. Henry's just my God. Like, and it's like people were, like, honestly, like the reason why Henry, I mean, he's an angel, but Henry, I don't know if you guys know this or not, or if I ever have talked about this. I got Henry so I cut my dad out of my life, which was really, a rough time. I cut my dad out of my life, I believe, in April, and then I got Henry in June. And Henry has been here through all of it, through, me working through the abuse and, the trauma. And then he was there when Tom died, and he was there, he's just been here through the hardest, most profound moments in my life. And this cat has just been laying by my side. And I think that's why, that's like my childhood dog. A lot of people were like, "Yeah, you really loved that dog." And it was like, well, yeah, I was getting pretty hardcore abused in, my home life. And the thing I had that wasn't abusing me, obviously, as a dog, but like, she was like my best friend and was like my, companion. And when things were really fucking scary and horrifying, I had this dog. And so I was just, and then Lucy, Lucy's fine. She's fine. She's a sweet cat. I think she's just like a cat where they just kind of do their own thing. And but Henry and I are best friends. He's my best friend. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So I was sitting there and I was like, God, for the very first time in my life, I am not tied to anything. Like I don't have children. I mean, I've never had children, so it's not like I was ever, but like a lot of people my age are tied, like they can't go after their dreams full speed because they have little humans they have to take care of. And I know that it's when they are your little humans, you of course are like, no, I want to take care of my little humans. But like, I don't have kids. I don't have a relationship. I forgot when I was thinking about thinking about dating and what that would look like for me, and I deleted the dating apps because of the crazy that ensued a day and a half in it. Jesus Christ, the beta bitch guy. I'm low-key disappointed I never heard back from that guy. I was hoping to have at least one or two more spirals via text, but I guess who knows? I feel like this guy might be a drinker, so fingers crossed he may reach out again, and that's very exciting for everybody, right? But I was thinking about that with like dating. Like, I don't really have the time to do that right now. Like, if like the right dude came along, of course I'd figure out how to make it work. But like my life, like I can't make plans for tomorrow because I might, like people are like, what are you doing this weekend? And I'm like, well, right now, nothing. And then I booked a bartending gig all weekend, which is like a big bartending gig, which I think will pay my rent this month. Right. And so like, there's no relationship. I don't have a bar job that I have to be there. Well, I have to be there on Thursday and I have to be there. Like the bar jobs, like days like today wouldn't have happened if I worked at a bar because more than likely I would have had to work tonight at 7 and I would have like at like 5, I would have been like, I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. Like, and these guys, of course, like on the job today, of course they would have like accommodated and been like, of course we'll get you out of here by 6 so you can make it there by 7. But like I wouldn't have had the beautiful time I had, like the beautiful time. The beautiful time. If they listen to this, they're gonna be like, Jesus, the magical. But like, it was just like such a nice, lovely day. And it wasn't like, and before, like, it's like, or I wouldn't be able to go because I would have had to work at 4. And it's like, okay, well, if I work at 4, if I book the job, then, and it's like, you couldn't ask somebody to cover that shift for you because what if you didn't book the job? Then you're out that shift. Like, and so like the bar, I always was tied to this shift. And if I booked a job and I was scheduled on the day of the job, it was like, okay, well, someone will have to cover for me. And as much as everyone's like, well, the bar jobs are great because you can get the shift covered. No one ever covers your shift. I had COVID 3 times and I had to go into work. And yeah, we all know that story. We know that I should maybe look into calling a lawyer because that was terrible. I didn't have a positive test until I had a positive test. They were like, well, you got to work. And they were like, everybody's sick. And I was like, yeah, that's bad. It's bad. The whole staff feels sick, but whatever. That I digress. I'm just kidding. I wanted to yell that really bad, but like no one covers for you. And I mean, like, yeah, sometimes like I booked a big job years ago but I had to like practically beg a girl to like, I was just like, please, like I'll owe you so big. This is my first job with my new agent. Or I don't work, or you go, I guess I don't work here anymore. So I was sitting there and I was just like, yeah, it's really fucking scary right now. It's so scary. Like I cry every day. I say that a lot, but I'm not kidding. Like it is like, I get real, oh my God, I forgot it's late. And I'm just screaming in my closet. My neighbor probably thinks I'm totally out of my mind. I already know he thinks I'm out of my mind because he has now heard me rewatch The Walking Dead 4 times. And he asked me like a month ago, he was like, so you're watching The Walking Dead again, huh? And I was like, it's a really good show. And then he's like, you really like that song, Shallow. It's a really good song. It's so embarrassing. But so, it's like, and so I say I cry every day, but like, I just have no idea. And the only thing I know right now is that I just have to have faith that it's going to work out. Like, it's just like, but I have no ties. And I booked this job today, and then Monday there might be a job in San Diego. I have no idea. I haven't heard from them, so maybe I didn't book it. But it like before it was like, oh, I want that job, but I can't take it because I think it's just for the first time in my life, I have no ties to anything. And if that's not freeing, and if that's not like the sign that I go for this dream, full fucking force. We had our flappers, the agency. God, I'm so burpy tonight. I'm so sorry. I think it's so gross when people are like, as much as I talk about poop and like bodily functions, I think it's very disgusting when people like purposely burp loud. It's just like, get it together. Come on. Like, that's just, it's your child. I used to work with somebody who did that and she thought it was so funny. And I was just like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm a little class man, so I'm sorry. I'm like burping. I'm not like belching. You know what I mean? Like people, whatever. Whatever. What am I saying? Oh, yes, we had our showcase on Saturday. Oh man, my agent had put on this show at Flappers for like he's doing once a month comedy show with his talent that on his roster that are stand-up comedians, and this was the first one, so I was very honored to be asked to be on the first one, and it was just such a lovely dude. I'm having so much fun. It's just such a good yeah. Things are things are a little scary. I got some family stuff going on, as I've sort of alluded to. I'll be in Denver in a couple of weeks. But like, I'm just having so much fun. So I go to this show and I get there and it's just like a room full of really talented comedians. And we're all so supportive and all so excited to be there. And before the show, so my agent bought my book and he's like, I don't want you to do puke dick tonight. And I was like, what? Oh, okay. And he's like, were you going to do it? And I was like, I was planning on doing puke dick because he read the chapter about the guy that ripped my heart out a bunch of times. If you've read the chapter, it's called I Feel Like a Fraud. It's about the guy who, I don't even want to bring him up in here. I gave it to the moon. No one knows what that means, but when you get a new moon, you're supposed to give shit to it. And I asked to let this go because, I'm still very heartbroken. And sidebar, we'll get back to the agent thing, but sidebar with this guy, I'm really working on being kind to myself, right? And really gentle with myself and being the I say the loving parent that I didn't get to have, and loving parent myself in a loving way. And I was really down on myself for still being just unbelievably heartbroken over this guy. I just am. And it's not debilitating. It's definitely gotten better, right? It's not anywhere near where it was. And it wasn't like I was like on the floor. You guys aren't judging me. But I was like, thinking about it and meditating on it and just being like, what is this? And I just heard that loving parent voice being like, I thought I could love this guy for 2 years. I wasn't in love with him, but I thought I could love him for 2 years. That's a long time. And unfortunately, that's a lot of lying that guy did. That guy did a lot of lying. God, he's a liar. But it's not going to go away overnight. It took, it was 2 years and expecting myself to just snap out of it. And so I'm allowing myself to be sad when I need to be sad, but not dwell on it, not go to his Facebook or Instagram. I still stand by not blocking him because I was talking to my sponsor about blocking him. And she's like, well, the blocking him's not for him, it's for you. And I was like, I know. And I know the only reason why I'd block him right now is to manipulate a reaction out of him. Like blocking him and unfriending him right now. Like when I did it last year, it had nothing to do with him. It was, I need this guy out of my ether. Fuck him. Right. And I didn't even think. It was just block. And now it's like, I know that if I blocked him now, it would just be trying to manipulate a response like that would get him to reach out to me. And so I am just taking it a day at a time. And so in the chapter about him, he used to call me puke dick because I have a joke about how I puked on a dick once. If you haven't seen it, this is a good time to join my Patreon. As on my Patreon, I will have all of my stand-up bits up and done by mid-October. By the time I go to Colorado, all my up-to-date stand-up bits. And you can join that for as little as $3 a month. That one, I don't think it's $5 a month gets you my stand-up. That's my tiny Patreon pitch. If you want to do Patreon, I would love it. But so he called me puke dick because I have a joke about how I puked on a dick. And it's a real crowd pleaser, dude. People fucking love that joke. People love that joke. In fact, it got some guy in Seattle to fall in love with me. And then lie to me for 2 years. And here we are. But I don't know if he lied. It doesn't matter. But And I was like, oh, fuck, you don't want this, back to the agent. We're in the green room. And I was like, you don't want me to do puke tick? And he's like, were you planning on doing it? I was like, yeah. And he goes, yeah, do it. It's fine. Do it. I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. He's like, well, and he's like, I was just kidding. I was trying to be like funny. And I was like, oh, okay. So I got in my head super, because first he was like, don't be blue, be super clean. But then he booked a girl who I guess she only has ass material. I think that's how it was relayed to me, that she only has butt sex material. She did use her minutes to do butt sex stuff, so it was, good for her. But so he was like, yeah, do blue if that's what you're funny. And I fucking crushed. But before he said that, I got all in my head, right? He said that I got all in my head. That was the reason why I told the story. So I got all in my head. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so freaked out. And this guy, very funny comedian, Jason Delgado, you should go look him up. He was like, he goes, I'm going to say something to you. And he's like, he's like, it's going to sound like I'm like, blowing, kissing your ass or whatever. But he's like, I'm just matter of fact, this is what has happened. I've done his show a few times. And he goes, and every time you do my show, other comics come up to me and go, who the fuck is that? He's like, you're a monster on stage. You crush every time. He's like, the waitresses are like, who is that? And he goes, and most of the time you're just riffing. And I don't know, it was like a night of all comics that just rooted for each other. Like, and my agent also, like, he's so great. He also set that tone, you know what I mean? Where it was just such a good night. And and I went out and I had my cum heavy set. I actually said that in there. I was like, this has been a cum heavy set. And it was just, dude, it's been a nice life. That sounds, I've had a really good time here. Not the whole time. I mean, you guys know all of my stuff. You guys know all of my things. This is like my weekly therapy. Oh God, no, it's not at all. If you were in my therapy sessions, there's a lot of crying and a lot of drawing my inner child. And then a lot of really uncomfortable, whatever, that got weird all of a sudden. But I don't know. It's just been really scary, but it's been working out. And like, rent is due in 2 days and I've paid my rent. Like, I think I'm gonna do this. I'm fucking doing it, And the running theme lately is just kindness. I'll just never forget that. Thank you so much for your kindness. I think that's the title of this episode. Yeah. God, what a cool day. And just spending the day with humans. You know what I mean? Like, spending the day with humans that are just good humans, where you're like, oh, you guys are good humans. These are good people. Like, I just, the world, I hope you have a lot of fun here, because it's a lot of fun here and you're good humans. Just be kind, man. I don't know. I'm going to Colorado in a couple of weeks and I have some Trumper family members that, I don't think are I think they're anti-vax or aren't going to get vaxxed or now deciding to get vaxxed. I don't know. There's, it's the game of fucking telephone, when you don't hear it straight from the person's mouth. And it's no one, like, that's not anybody in my family. I'm not putting down anybody in my family. I'm just saying that's just how humans go. Do you guys remember the game of telephone when you're, this may be dating myself. I don't know if they still do this, but it was very much to show you how different shit can get, like a story can change if it goes through enough people, right? Like, so you'd sit in a circle and the teacher would whisper something in one of the kids' ears, and then the kid would whisper it in the next kid's ear, and then the next kid would, and then every kid would whisper it all around the circle. And then at the last kid would say what was whispered in his ear, his or her ear. And it was always something different, right? It's the game of telephone. And so I don't actually know if these people are, some of my family's anti-vax, or if they're, if they're not going to be wearing masks and all that stuff. But I am trying to gear myself up to just having be kind, man. Just be kind. Be kind. Also, don't put yourself in danger. The anti-vaxxer, anti-maskers, if that's a thing, I will have to politely say I will see you next go around, because a friend of mine who has long haul COVID and is vaccinated just got a breakthrough case. So I am not getting COVID again over dumb shit. Like, I'll get COVID again if I'm like, being safe somewhere with, you know what I mean? If that makes sense, like it may happen again. That's out of my control. But what is in my control is not going into irresponsible situations where people aren't taking care of themselves or others, right? So just be kind, man. I don't know. Oh, I'm tired. This is late. I wonder if anyone's going to download it today. You know, I have no inner monologue. You guys ready for your poop scoop? Oh my God. The poop scoop is from today. I had 2 stories that were told to me today while I was doing this job. And I also learned that I ask different questions than regular humans do when it comes to shitting your pants. The guy was like, I don't know. I didn't ask him. So the guy, one of the guys there, because I'm going to tag so someone that was at the job today, I don't want to use his name because I don't want it to get back to whatever. I said I wouldn't say names. So his friend was at Port Authority, which I guess is like the bus station in New York. A lot of you probably already know that. I didn't know that. I was like, where is that again? And he had to poop really bad. And And then it went from like, oh, it's fine to, you know, as it is, to like, I'm going to shit my motherfucking pants. So he goes... He goes down to the bathrooms where he's going to shit his pants, and every stall is taken. And he's like, most of the stalls were taken by homeless people bathing in the toilet water, which is a whole other set of sad stuff. So let's not even get into that. But like all the stalls were taken, and most of them were taken by homeless people, not even using the toilet. And the guy had 2 options: poop in the urinal or poop his pants. I think I would have pooped in the urinal. Yeah, I think I would have pooped in the urinal. This guy pooped his pants. And then this guy just shit his pants. But he's like, I guess he just like walked into the corner and then just pooped his pants and then took his underwear off and then went down to like the local department store. I can't remember what department store he used. Went to a department store and bought new underwear and then was like, oh, I got to tell you a story. So when he tells me the story, I go, did he face the wall or did he have his back to the wall when he was pooping his pants? And the guy was like, I don't know. I didn't ask that. But now you're wondering, right? You're like, did he stare at the wall in hopes to not see anyone? Or did he back in the wall to make sure he was aware of everyone who was going to know that he was shitting his pants 10 feet from the toilet? 10 feet from the toilet. I think I would have pooped in the urinal. I mean, I'm imagining the Port Authority bathroom is not, I mean, the way he described it with the homeless, I'm imagining that urinal has seen worse things. Right? I don't know. I'm going to think about this for a long time. And then another guy comes in and he goes, well, I've never shit my pants, but it's one of my favorite sentences that a human being can say. I've never shit my pants, but, and then you know what's coming next. It's just going to be amazing. And I guess he was in Italy with his boyfriend and he wasn't wearing underwear. He had like shorts on and a tank top on and sandals and no underwear. It was like maybe swim trunks. I kind of feel like he explained that part, but like no underwear, commando. And he was traveling. So he, you know, when you travel, your poops are kind of all over the map, right? And he said that he hadn't pooped in like 5 days. And I had already told these people quite a bit about me that today. So I didn't want to be like, oh man, I hear you. I have not pooped in 5 days. A lot in my life. But so he was like, I hadn't pooped in like 5 days. So I just started, you know, taking a bunch of laxatives. And then he said another day went by and nothing. He's like, he was taking laxatives and nothing was happening. He's like, I was getting kind of worried. Like I need to go to the doctor. So the day that he's out and about, no underwear, no socks, nothing. Very important for the story. It hits him. And he's like, I gotta poop. And his boyfriend's like, go to the bathroom. So he runs up to the person at the restaurant and he's like, bathroom. And the person was like, no English. I don't know how you say no English in Italian. But he's like, no English. And he's like, fuck. So he runs back to his boyfriend. He's like, he doesn't know English. Where is the toilet? And he goes, say toilet. They know toilet. So he runs back over. He's like, toilet. The guy's like, that way. So he runs in there and he goes in the bathroom. He shuts the door. There's no toilet bowl or there's no toilet seat. It's just a bowl. So he sits on the bowl and, you know, he evacuates. He explodes. I could go on for a while if you want. He relieves himself. No, that's pee, I think. But, you know, he blows out the toilet and then there's no toilet paper. And he's like, oh, maybe there's toilet seat covers. Oh, there's not toilet seats. Why would there be toilet seat covers? And he's like, well, maybe there's something I dry, or maybe there's paper towels to dry. He doesn't have anything, right? He doesn't have like, that's why underwear, socks, like if you had underwear on, you would just use the underwear and then, you know, cut your losses, right? Or your socks, you'd use a sock and cut your losses. Like, I mean, that's where my brain would go. And he was like, yeah, that's, and so I was like, well, what did you do? He's like, well, I sat in there for a while and tried to figure out what the hell to do. And they don't have service. Like he's in Italy, so his phone service isn't great. So he's trying to text his boyfriend. It's not getting to his boyfriend. So he's just like, I basically just took a bath in that sink, and then I didn't have anything to dry off on. So I just had a soggy butt all day. I just love that poop unites us all. Everywhere in the world, someone's either shitting their pants or they have an embarrassing poop story. Or an emergency poop situation. I love the poop scoop. That's your poop scoop, guys. If you would like to, I have a couple in the doc. I have a couple in my email that I have, but I would love it. Please send me your poop scoops. KimKralspace@gmail.com. KymKralspac@gmail.com. Or, just say hi. Tell me why you're one lucky broad. I am one lucky broad. I don't know, man. I think this whole episode was talking about how one lucky broad I am. I'm a lucky broad. I'm one lucky broad. I am terrified of this new venture, but it's working out. And I'm one lucky broad that I'm having a little bit of faith. And the more faith I have, what do they say? You leap and the net appears. It's kind of happening. And I mean, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but right now it's going really well, and I'm really excited. And my best friend from Colorado and his wife will be here tomorrow. And we talked on the phone yesterday, and we haven't seen each other in 3 years. I don't think I'm gonna let go of them when I hug them. My best friend also married this woman who is just, dude, talk about kind. This brought, my best friend from college, Mark, is just, he's the best person I've ever met in my whole life. And then he started dating this broad, and I was like, oh my God, she's the nicest person too. Like they're my family. And so I don't know, I'm just feeling really grateful and happy right now. And, I will be posting my red hair in the Instagram posts, so I'm very excited about it. I guess tell me if you like it. I don't know why I would say that, because I got a weird reaction earlier that was just like, oh, it's not that short. It's just like, oh, okay, well, I like the red. Cool. I don't think anybody meant anything by it, and maybe they did. Who knows? Who cares? I love it. I look like a fucking mermaid. I am thinking about the speech I got to send my agent tomorrow and be like, hey, I have red hair now. But I really do think I'll be called in more. I don't know. I'll be posting the photo. Okay, this went off on an inner monologue spiral. Guys, I'm pretty grateful. I had a really great day. It's been a great couple of days, and my booty bear is healthy. My booty is healthy. Oh, his name is Booty. The guy who did my hair today, his dog's name is Lola, and so I have had that in my head all day today. So I've been calling. His name is Booty. Okay, I'm going to get off now. I'm going to go get off. I'm not going to masturbate. I'm going to get off of this isn't a phone call. I'm going to get off the podcast now. I'm going to go to bed. I'm very tired. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for, thank you for everything. If you would like to follow me and you don't yet, KymKral on everything, Kim Kral. I have a Patreon. I would love it if you joined. I have 2 bonus episodes locked and loaded that I will get them up in the next couple of days. Oh, they're for September. No, I think I already did September, so they'll be whatever. I'm not good at the 2 a month. I just give you 2 or 3 at a time, whatever, it doesn't matter. Join the Patreon. You can do it as little as $3. I would love that. I got some other cool shit maybe coming up. I wrote a book, if you didn't already know, which I'm sure you did, Confessions of a Recovering Party Girl. I would love it if you bought it. I'm almost sold out of the signed copies, so if you want a signed copy, I'll be getting new ones too, so don't think if you want it, you'll just have to wait a little bit longer. But you can get that at KimKrall.com, or you can just go to Amazon, and they're on Amazon, and you'll get them in like 2 days. I think that is it, everybody. Just remember, be kind. Be kind. God damn it. It shouldn't be it shouldn't be what's the opposite of the norm. It shouldn't be bizarre when people are nice to you. Let's turn this fucking thing around. World's ending. Let's turn this thing around while we still have a chance. All right, everybody. I love you lots. Be safe. Be kind. Bye.
Crawl space, I don't care, crawl.